So welcome everyone to our Angelbeat Health and Life Sciences program. We're so excited to put this together in cooperation with Microsoft, who's provided so many great speakers. Our whole objective at Angelbeat is really twofold, which is how do we make sure that individuals get the skills and insights they need so they can be more successful in their jobs, so they know where technology is going. And then in doing so, not only helping the individual progress in his or her career, but then also help their employer, the organization, embrace digital transformation, know the opportunities out there, and that way they can be effective. The world is challenging enough before COVID-19. That has obviously made the challenges faced by health and life sciences organizations become much more critical. On one hand, you've got to deal with COVID-19. You've got to deal with so many elective procedures if you're a major hospital that were put on hold for several months. You've got to support a workforce that's increasingly challenged. Just amazing people. You hear these incredible stories. And so I think it's very appropriate to have this as our opening session with regard to our industry-specific events. If you look at this agenda, and let me point out, this is a lot of material, but we've got 4 or 5 hours. If there's some subjects that you've got colleagues who want to learn in more detail, they can just easily log in just for the sections that are of great interest to them. But in coming up with this, the common theme is all the areas of health and life sciences, genomics, they're all closely tied together. What we want to do is go through these subjects dealing with Microsoft's cloud strategy, on a high level with Lucia and her colleagues. We're then going to go through some specific examples of how the state of Washington was able to use Microsoft capabilities to provide a data-driven response, getting away from the motions, getting away from the politics to help them deal, which again, much like Stony Brook, where I was at, the state of Washington, tragically at some of its nursing homes, elderly living facilities, was at the height of the COVID breakout in March and April, so that should be very useful. I then grouped together a number of what I would call software solutions that are healthcare specific, and we're excited to hear about them. We'll take about an hour there where we can demonstrate all 3 of these platforms. Then on a related note, because those are solutions geared as much for internal usage by organizations, then we're going to hear from Daryl about Teams, Microsoft's key digital platform for collaboration. And then we'll hear from Stony Brook Hospital how they use Teams to ensure that they could fight COVID-19. So another case study similar to the state of Washington that I think will be useful. For the Stony Brook Hospital discussions, it's going to be, again, Dr. Halska Picky. We've got 2 physicians speaking here. And again, we wanted to make it very relevant from a medical, health and life sciences perspective, not keep it all about technology. And I think it'll be a nice blend to help you and your organizations do very well. We'll then hear from Sally and Corey about IoT for health and life sciences, very critical. I mean, there's so much data being collected through these Internet of Things solutions that you want to know more about that. Trend Micro, one of our key sponsors of this program, is going to talk about, well, there's only so much Microsoft can do to provide security, and device manufacturers, you need a third-party expert like Trend Micro as, how do you go about tying together data that appears or might be stored on-prem, might also get involved with hosted electronic medical records, and then you've also got a hosted Azure platform, so it's a little more complex. That also ties in with patient health information, all critical security issues, all very health and life sciences specific, so I think their comments are going to be very meaningful. We'll then bring up Roberto to talk about, I'm very excited about this on a personal level, how Microsoft's cloud-based capabilities can accelerate and improve the ability of scientists and researchers to analyze the human genome, to do genetic analysis, and thereby help the drug and vaccine manufacturers much more quickly determine if a vaccine or drug is effective. I think it's incredible. Right now, you've got the ability, which might have took weeks, months in the past, can now be done in days, that kind of analysis, because any organization just through a bandwidth connection, can take advantage of Microsoft's phenomenal computing capabilities. We'll then bring up Dr. Mark Podnansky, who runs the Vaccine Center at Mass General Hospital in Boston. He's also a professor of infectious diseases at Harvard Medical School. I wanted to have him conclude the program, or just about conclude it, because everyone wants to know what's going on in vaccines. That's why I think you'll all stick around, because all of us want to know. Let's, again, stay away from the politics. What are the scientists? What does someone at Mass General, Harvard Med professor, think about the state of vaccines? I think it's be very useful. And finally, Quest, another key strategic partner of Microsoft, talk about how they go about ensuring the secure recording and scanning of medical records, tying together with electronic and medical record systems and broader Microsoft cloud solutions. So a lot of information touching on a variety of different subjects. The industry is the common example, as well as the focus is, here's something going on, here's what the technology is about, here's how it could be potentially used in the organization. Again, dual objectives, helping you as individuals become more successful, help you become better at your jobs, and thereby the dual objectives helping your organizations embrace digital transformation and stay current and successful. We've got 3 companies who are working with Angelbeat, as I mentioned before. We've got our opening speaker, Andy from Ahead. Then we're going to hear from Trend Micro and Quest during the sessions. We really appreciate their financial support in helping Angelbeat make all of this come together. Ahead, as I mentioned, is a multi-billion-dollar systems integrator, a wealth of expertise in healthcare and Microsoft solutions. Many people know Trend Micro as one of the preeminent pure security companies out there, so we're excited to have their insights. Quest has a wealth of software solutions. We're going to be specifically focusing on some of their case products, and I think that you'll find their complementary solutions very useful. Whereas Microsoft can do obviously a lot, they're dependent on other technology partners to provide a total integrated solution. So we're glad to have these 3 companies working with Angelbeat to make this happen. Just a quick overview of Angelbeat. We used to do live events. Hopefully next year, probably in the fall, we'll get back on track. Right now, we're focused on these virtual seminars. You'll see some common themes on our product-specific seminars dealing with cloud, security, applications, data automation, as well as these industry-specific events. And we're also putting together programs to help you understand how do you go about putting together your 2021 budgets and plans. You can always get the latest information off our website, and we encourage everyone to follow us on social media. We have a large email database, but as opposed to waiting to get emails from Angelbeat, please follow us on Twitter, join our LinkedIn group, follow us on YouTube. All of this is very useful so you can get the latest and greatest information. Just some final comments on logistics. We have an online chat going on here, and I'll be monitoring that very closely, see if anyone has any questions. I don't see any just yet. But you can let me know that. I want to again point out that you should go to the handout section on your control panel and download the agenda just so you can see it. That's also where you can get your CPE credits. I'm recording all of this content. It'll be available probably by early next week. If you go to the Angelbeat website, you can go to our Angelbeat YouTube page and see all the videos. We've got one long recording. It's going to be about 4 or 5 hours that I then need to break up into separate segments. So if you're specifically interested in a Heads Talk or an IoT or in Power Platform or on genomic modeling, we'll have each of them broken up into separate individual videos, along with the ability to download the individual slides. And so just give me a couple of days to get all that pulled together and we're good to go. You can always contact me directly. I'm just checking doing real time, checking all of this. I don't see any other questions coming up now. We got another register. I do want to point out that as you look at this great content, if you have friends or colleagues who maybe didn't have a chance to sign up previously, absolutely encourage them to sign up. It's pretty straightforward. If you just go to angelbeat.com, you can sign up there and get all the information. and we'll take it from there. And we'd welcome additional participants. Plus, if you have to step away, we understand, no problem. You can always log back in. You don't need to be exactly committed for the next 6 hours at your specific location, but we appreciate your time and effort here in hearing from all these great speakers. Let me also just make a quick comment on Angelbeat's privacy policies. So we're able to put together these programs with the financial and strategic support of all the participants. We have a default opt-in, which means 2 days after the event, we released your contact information to the organizations that are sponsoring and speaking at the event. Most people are okay with that. They understand our business model, and they sign up because they do want to hear about all these great solutions and see how it could help their organization. At the same time, there are some individuals who say, you know, something wrong, this was great, but I'd like to opt out. I'm going to contact this specific speaker that's of greatest interest to me on my own. So please remove me from the Excel spreadsheet that contains all the contact information for the registrants that we provide these organizations 2 days after the event. Opt-out is pretty straightforward. Just send me an email. You'll see that in the post-event email that you get automatically. We obviously want to be very respectful of your privacy, your data, etc., and just ask whether or not you want to continue to opt in or stay opting out. You just give fair consideration to all the great companies who work with Angelbeat to make this happen.